Shuffle some things around. I've heard a lot about this place. We're coming. Wait, when was your
Testing. How you doing, everyone? Just got a few more people to board here. Please put on your safety belts if you're seated. All right, so we'll get a nice breeze going pretty soon. I want to cover a few more safety rules with everyone, so please pay attention. Very important to remain seated and have your seatbelt on. No smoking, no vaping allowed at all. This is a gasoline-powered boat. Many of you brought some drinks or food on board, which is fine to enjoy those during our tour. But remember, this is our drinking water here in Lake Michigan. No littering allowed. We have the Coast Guard right over here, keeping an eye on us, and stiff fines for anyone who litters in the lake. When we're out on the lakefront, it gets windy out there. We'll be going pretty fast, so anything like my hat here will probably go flying away once we head out there on the lakefront portion. Just be careful. You can sit on it, put it in your bag, or anything else that can go flying as well. Very important on the tour to keep your arms, your legs, everything inside the boat, especially your cameras. If you drop your camera, we'll just have to have a little wake here and say goodbye to it because we are not able to rescue that. No life jackets for the cameras. All right, so good breeze coming in here now, and there's two sections to our tour here. We've got the lakefront portion and the river portion. The lake actually sits about 5 to 8 feet higher than the Chicago River. And so part of the process here, we're going to enter through the locks over here on the right-hand side. That's federal government territory over there. The U.S. Corps of Engineers controls the Chicago Harbor locks. We're coming up to a little traffic signal over here, and then the captain will decide if we go through the locks or out to the lakefront. Our captain today, Captain Cat up top, keeping us safe. Let's hear it for Captain Cat and our first mate Taylor right here. All right, we're gonna have a fun time out on the lake. That's the Chicago Fire Department boat there, out here on the lakefront. Chicago Police, have an active Marine unit, Fire Department as well. And the U.S. Coast Guard, of course. Also, you see a lot of choppers flying around Lake Michigan, and those are also those sort of governmental bodies keeping everybody safe out here.
As we enter the locks, everyone's hands, arms, all your body parts need to be inside the boat. If you're sitting on the rails, bring your arms in, please.
All right. So here's our traffic light here. We've got the yellow. There's a priority to vessels as they go through the locks. First government vessels as are proceeding there. And then commercial passenger, which is us and also this ship going through right here. Then commercial cargo, and then your recreational vehicles. We saw a couple jet skiers get chewed out over here this morning for going through.
I'm going to need all of your guys' arms and everything off this metal bar.
This portion of the tour, it's very important. When we're in the locks, it actually feels like nothing's happening, but we are actually descending to the level of the Chicago River, so it's quite possible to injure your arms here. You got to keep everything inside the boat on this side. So no elbows on the railings, please. No elbows allowed on the railings.
Where is the door to the... Where do we go?
make sure your phone and everything inside, ma'am.
But the orange
It's open right now.
but they close behind us. So
Yes.
Just make sure your arm is well
the
inside.
gate.
You too, sir, here with the camera. Make sure that, excuse
Oh,
me.
this is the gate. Be careful with your camera.
All right.
This is the gate. They're
All right.
gonna close the gate so the water will be
All right. Just
lower
keep your
than
arm
the
there
other section.
inside the boat, please. So we're going to be tying up here. So what's happening here, our first aid sailor going to tie us up here to the side of the
You
lock.
stay seated for me,
Army
please.
Corps engineers here, staff
I don't.
the
You
harbor
gotta
lock.
stay seated. You gotta
supervising
stay
this
seated. You
process.
gotta go back to your seat and stay where you were.
Yeah, Deborah's here. She's here.
Ma'am, you must remain seated, please. There's no standing or moving around the ship once. Long Island, okay. Welcome everyone to our tour here. And some of you got a very unique perspective here about what goes on with the locks. If you're taking pictures right now, golden opportunity to get a fantastic view of the Chicago skyline. Thank you so much, folks, for helping us out here. Thank you so much for helping us out here. All right, sir. Okay.
Só eu da veículo que é mais baixo, que eu vou esquerda.
All right. So that is the toughest part of our process here. But look at the fantastic picture here you got of the Chicago skyline, considered one of the top 5 skylines in the world. While we're here, I'm going to address a couple people here. That tower over there, the big white tower that looks like the World Trade Center, has a North Carolina connection. Because when it was built, it was clad in Italian Carrara marble from that quarry that Michelangelo used. But that type of marble cannot withstand a Chicago winter. They had to strip it all down and replace it with North Carolina granite. And it has been surviving ever since. That's from the 1980s. Now, so for all you Canadians on board, it's very important to remain seated, folks. Really, if there's an emergency, let me know, and I'll let the captain know, and we can see what we can do. But it's a safety matter. All right, so all the Canadians on board, just so you know, we have the locks here in Chicago because we were sued by the surrounding states here on the Great Lakes, Indiana, Wisconsin, and Michigan, and Canada, because they said, you guys are taking too much water out of the lake. And someone was asking me where the water goes. It used to flow freely right from Lake Michigan, right down the Chicago River. Because it is a freshwater supply for a lot of people, they restricted that through a lawsuit, and that's why the locks were built. 1 billion gallons go through there every day, and another billion go through the Jarvis water filter and constantly here. All right, Lake Shore Drive Bridge that we just passed, under 250,000 cars go over that bridge every day. We have a specific style of bridge here in Chicago, the 20th Ave Fuel Bridge. And that means it works like a seesaw. Comes up in the middle and allows flotillas of boats to come through here. And they're on a schedule. There's so much traffic. They used to flow anytime you wanted them to open the bridge, but now it's on schedule, Wednesdays and Saturdays. And so you'll see crowds of boats here, and the bridges will come up one at a time. You'll see 16 bridges on our tour here through the center of town. But look at the magnificence here. Who told me they're from the new east side of Chicago? We have a gentleman over here. This is the new east side of Chicago, right over here. And this is all recent development, 36 towers from Michigan Avenue to the lake. Lakeshore Drive used to actually run right through this neighborhood on a very dangerous road called the S-curve. They had to demolish that in order to make way for this development. They had planned to build over here from the 1960s. We have the father of modern architecture, Ludwig E. Sandereau, set up a plan for this area and finally was able to be realized. Right over there, the Dean Dane building under construction is called the Vista Tower. It will be the third tallest tower in Chicago when it's completed next year. But look at the way we designed there. It's such a beautiful building. The green and blue glass reflecting the water. She's very influenced by water. That's her second tower here in this neighborhood. Her first tower was called the Aqua Tower. And beautiful wavy balconies over here. Right here in between these buildings, you see the wavy balcony. She won so many awards for that building that she got numerous other commissions, including a huge expansion out at O'Hare Airport. So she is the architect of the moment around the world, and not too many female architects, so that's quite an accomplishment. We're coming under our Columbus Drive Bridge here, built in 1982. And up ahead, 4 towers here along the main side. They're Ludwig E. Sandereau. He escaped from wartime Germany and came to Chicago and is a member of the Bauhaus School, a very important school of architecture over there. But the Germans did not like his modern designs. They liked Greek and Roman architecture. So he came to Chicago. He had a couple of friends here. He built 27 towers in Chicago. They all look like this one over here. A steel frame building with a glass curtain wall. It looks very plain by today's standards, but you have to understand that when those towers went up, they were a very big novelty, a very economical way to build a high-rise tower. This is Michigan Avenue up ahead, and the DuSable Bridge, named for one of the first settlers here in Chicago. Stay good. First settler in Chicago, John Baptiste Montisano, who was the first non-native settler. Of course, the Native Americans were here. Here's the Apple Store, built on the site of his first settlement. And then it's designed to look like a laptop computer. They moved out here recently because having a building on the river now is one of the hottest properties. Between $10 and $20 additional per square foot. Every business is required to also build out the Riverwalk, a very important part of our waterfront scene now. Busy traffic out here. This is the Wrigley Tower, built in 1921 and 1924. It's 2 towers designed to look like a cathedral in Seville, Spain. In the 1920s, European design was all the rage. That was the tallest tower at that time, observatory up top. They give you a stick of gum along with your tour. The Trump Tower, of course, built in 2009 by Adrian Smith of Skidmore, Owings & Merrill. He is now one of the world's top architects. He did the Burj Khalifa in Dubai. He is doing Kingdom Tower in the Emirates, and he now has his own architectural firm. This is a beautiful tower of his here, replaced the Chicago Sun-Times building, an industrial facility here for decades. It is the second tallest tower in Chicago, and the penthouse over there went for $17 million in cash to an Indian investor who is rarely seen here in Chicago. On the right here, another Venus Vanderbilt design from 1971. And he was such an influential architect. He was a professor at the Illinois Institute of Technology. One of his students put up the Twin Towers here, Marina Towers, built in the 1960s, in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. This was not a very desirable place to live here down in the city. Everyone was going out to the suburbs. Nice, beautiful, tenant-free areas. He said, are y'all crazy? Cities where the action is. So he built the 2 towers as a city within a city. 1,000 apartments, all the parking spaces, a marina down below, movie house, bowling alley, ice skating rink. You never needed to leave the building. So those those are iconic towers. They are landmark properties today. Condominium. Hey, how you doing? That's the Six Flags Resort over there along the river. And in the early days, there was no action in this area. Now River North, where that building is one of the hottest neighborhoods in the city. We have our brand new Riverwalk completed in 2016, primarily this side of the river. But along this side, new developments coming in as the waterfront has proven to be very popular here. Right over here, Portofino is a brand new restaurant. If you heard of the Let Us Entertain You Enterprises, a big restaurant conglomerate here in Chicago. This is their very popular pizza restaurant. Pull up the boat, but you better have a reservation because from what I'm told, since they've opened, very hard to get a seat over there. There will be an entire entertainment complex here along the Chicago River. This building right over here, to get an idea what the city looked like back in the early 1900s when Navy Pier was the busiest commercial port in the country. Warehouses like this one here were all along the Chicago River. It was a working river. It was an industrial river. This was a grocer's warehouse and at one time served as a temporary hospital for a shipping disaster that happened right over here. The Eastland disaster. 844 people died in a ship right over there when it capsized in the dock. It was just 3 years after the Titanic. Most of the people died because the furniture fell on top of them, not because of drowning. It was from the furniture. They were only in 20 feet of water. That's terrible when that happened. Up ahead here, on the right-hand side, there's a cool picture there of the L-Trans, unique to Chicago. They do have elevated train lines in other cities, but not that loop around the entire city area as ours do. First track built here in 1890. But this huge building here, second largest building in the country behind the Pentagon, 4.2 million square feet of property. This was originally a warehouse for Marshall Field, one of our retail entrepreneurs, very successful in retailing and wholesaling. He consolidated his warehouses here, but he was losing a lot of money because it was built at the Depression. He sold it to the Kennedy family from Boston, and they bought it for $16 million. They sold it for $600 million in 1998. Nice, tidy profit there. That's the center now for the interior design wholesale trade, as well as 1871 at Tempe Theater. But a huge building, and they used to go around there building in roller skates in the early days. Over here, the Kennedys did not sell this property that they also owned, currently being developed here at Wolf Point, a very historic point here, where the river splits into the north and south branch. 3 towers going up here. The commercial tower will have Salesforce as the anchor. Rental property there, $1,800 a month, and in the middle, a third tower, double the size of that building, about $1,800 a month for an apartment over here in this tower. Now, as you can imagine, those are $1 million apartments there at the residences at River Bend, and they were not too happy about this development here. So they sued. They sued the Kennedys and the developers and said, we have a constitutional right to our view. And the court said, no you don't. Case dismissed. So be careful where you buy here. Everything on this side of the river is built over the railroad tracks. Amtrak lines underneath, metro lines going up to Northbrook, where some of our guests come today. You're riding under those buildings on your way home. So, very challenging to build on this side of the railroad track. Up ahead here, we have new construction going up. The Bank of America headquarters, right here on the river. 52-story tower going up here. Everyone wants to be on the river now that the Riverwalk has been so successful. So anyone who builds must build out a piece of the riverfront as well. They're adding a half-acre riverfront park over here. Also restaurants and bars. They want a great entertainment. They're trying to draw the millennial talent over here. So this should be completed by next year. And we'll see how it develops over time. That was another older industrial building, General Growth Properties. Those are the people that run all of the malls around the country. We're coming after this bridge, Washington Bridge, to a beautiful Art Deco section here. All of the Art Deco buildings here along the river were designed by Frank Anderson, Probst, and White. They got all the permissions for these big, beautiful buildings. How do you know it's Art Deco? A lot of vertical lines, a lot of repeat patterns, a lot of they go in there in the tile work. This is Opera House here. Seats 3,800 people, one of the largest stages in Chicago. Built by Samuel Insull, who made a fortune not only with the electricity, he was known as the Prince of Electricity, but also with the railroads. He looked out here from his office tower. That's known as Insull's Throne here. Look, it's built like a throne. He actually wanted to build his opera house out on Grand Park, on the lakefront. He was denied, so he built that as a throne with this back facing City Hall. Over here, Skidmore, Owings & Merrill is the name you will hear all around the world in architecture. They really became big here in Chicago. In 1936, moved here from New York. And these four towers are theirs. Gateway 1, 2, 3, and 4. The four towers here, just this side of the train station. You see the rail lines right below here in this section. And they were big students of Mies van der Rohe and the international modern style. So they replicated it here. That's how they made their initial fortune. The building there on the end, you see how it has a beautiful curve that follows the river. That's known as postmodernism. You start with that steel frame structure, and then you get a little creative there with it. So, beautiful tower over there. You might recognize that from the Batman movies. A lot of films taken here in Chicago. Right now, around the city, you're going to see they're building Batwoman. They've been all over town. They're on the river. They might be there as we pass by. They were there earlier today on a previous river cruise. So Skidmore started in Chicago. They're now in 50 different countries, building all these towers in the Middle East, in China, in many other parts of the world. A skyscraper is a symbol of power. It is a symbol of prestige and economic importance, and so many other countries desire to have these big towers as well. But here in Chicago, this is their biggest creation, the Sears Tower. As it was originally known, today it's called the Willis Tower. Up top there, 110 stories. And on the 100th floor, they have a cool little feature there. Those glass boxes over the river are called the ledge. And step out into the glass box from the Daredevil and check out the streetscape. Or you can see all the way out to O'Hare Airport from their observation deck, the sky deck. You can see all the surrounding states as well on a clear day. The building is actually 9 separate towers fused together. The outer buildings are much lower, so you'll have a 50-story tower, a 66-story tower, all supporting the tallest tower there in the middle. It was the tallest building in the world for 25 years until they built the Petronas Towers in Malaysia. And that sparked off a big debate in the skyscraper world. How do you measure a skyscraper? Because that one over here, there's a lot of antenna on top. Does that count? You put a big antenna? The answer is they stopped measuring a skyscraper where the architect stopped. So those antenna over there are an outside company, broadcasting company that came in, not included in the height. But at the Trump Tower, the architect designed the spire at the top. So that is included in the height of that particular building. You can see how creative these real estate people get. The corner office of a building is the most valuable part of that building. And over here at the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, one of several trading floors we have here in Chicago, they sliced off the side of each corner of the building so they can create several more corner offices there. The Chicago Mercantile Exchange, when this tower was built in 1987 by Bruce Howard Johnson, was right here. And this center portion here is like a big football field where all the trading activity took place. But today, that entire business has gone computerized. So they are currently doing construction here, repurposing that trading floor. There's another one also over at the Chicago Board of Trade, which is where they trade all the grains from the Midwest, establish prices for those goods since the 1800s. And that trading floor also, not much activity over there due to trade becoming computerized. We're back here in our Art Deco section here. How'd you like to be a kayaker out there? How popular activity here along the river. But this building here was a Chicago Daily News building. At one time we had 4 different newspapers in Chicago, very cutthroat business. They were the first to build with a patio facing the river, 1920s, also by Graham Anderson, Probst and White. This building is designed to look like a sphinx. Egyptomania was huge in those years. In Tut, they had just discovered this too. So a lot of Egyptian motifs over there. And of course, a beautiful plaza now. They were well ahead of their time there with that. Boeing headquarters here in Chicago, they did a beauty contest around the country. They chose Chicago for their building. Right here, this section is cantilevered over the railroad tracks. They couldn't find a solid part of the bedrock, so it's cantilevered on the main tower here. And look at this one. I told you it's very challenging to build here. That's called the tuning fork. The little section here on the gray area is holding up that entire building, a very small section of land. They could not build there since 1898 due to the challenges of the space. It's only recent technology and structural engineering that allows it. Up at the top of that tower, these water tanks. When the wind blows the building, water tanks move and keep that building stabilized. So engineering equally as important as the architect. If you see the border side, that's exactly how the building looks. That bottom part of the X there is underground. So coming back to the Y in our river, lots of big plans for the Chicago River in the future. Up here on the North Branch, there's a lot of apartments going up there. They're actually looking at some of the property up there for one of the sites for a casino. They have Tribune own a lot of property over here. They're looking at that site for a new casino in Chicago. We do not have any city casinos. We have some out in the suburbs. So that'll be interesting. But that is going to be developed as the Wild Mile. Since they've been cleaning up the Chicago River, more wildlife coming in, lots of little critters, and you see the kayakers. So it's much cleaner than the older days, but not clean enough to swim in yet. And you can fish, but I wouldn't recommend eating there. Here's the Chicago Riverwalk. The beginning right here stretches 1.25 miles, and above one of Chicago's favorite buildings, voted numerous times as our favorite building. They filmed some scenes from Ferris Bueller's Days Off over here. His dad worked in this, the John Dewey building, designed by Cole Peterson, a New York architectural firm. They did this building here and the two surrounding it, and a beautiful statement of contextualism. That's where the architect looks at the environment. The green glass there reflecting the Chicago River's color. That is actually a pie-shaped building there, but it follows the curve of Wecker Drive in the river as well. Why is the Chicago River green like this? It's not exactly a super clean river. I think we're up to toxic and hazardous still. So, but it's green because it's an algae-based bottom. It's an algae and muddy bottom, and so that creates the green color there, not necessarily pollution. Here's our river walk here, stretching 1.25 miles all the way down to Lake Michigan. These sections here, west of State Street, are mostly nice walking areas. There's little fountains and greenery here along the river, nice place to relax. But it was very expensive to build this, $150 million. And also, building out here on the river requires a lot of permissions. This is actually considered to be a federal waterway. Because the Chicago River is connected by canals out to the Mississippi and out to the Gulf Coast, the federal government is involved here. And of course, Army Corps of Engineers not only built the locks, but they reversed the flow of the Chicago River in 1900, sending all of the pollution and all of the debris that was in the river at that time down to St. Louis. So this section here, again, nice boats, nice walking areas, but it took 10 years to get all the permissions necessary. And the architects here were Ross Barney on the Riverwalk. This section over here is used as a place for theater. They'll frequently pull up barges here over the summer and do a little show along the lakefront, but a nice sitting area for people working in these office towers. Over here is what was going to be the Shangri-La Hotel. They They started construction in the early 2000s, but the 2008 financial crash killed the deal. It sat there half-built for a long time until Related Midwest came in and converted it to an apartment tower. Neat architecture there, little outdoor spaces, and that's a theme. And most of your buildings that are going up today, they have rooftop gardens, reducing the CO footprint, little balcony areas, so you can enjoy the indoors and the outdoors as well. Over here on the right, designed by Ricardo Goldfield, and that was his first commission ever to do a building. And you can see that he's using the steel frame design, but also paying homage to the past. We have a Greek-style pediment there and all the columns just like an older Greek column. And that's something all architects do. They pay homage to the past as a reflection of their designs. Over here, this building, this gray tower designed by Kevin Roach, looks very beautiful in the evening. They also got creative with this tower on the corner offices. They just pushed it out a bit so you have additional corner offices around the building. And those little silver pieces there glow at night. It looks like the entire building is lit up by candlelight. Up ahead there, see the building with gold top there. That's the carbide and carbon building. And that was designed to look like a champagne bottle. Built in 1929, they were thumbing their nose at the U.S. government over prohibition, done by the Burnham brothers. Today, that's the home to the St. Jane Hotel. But beautiful green tile there in the tower with the gold leaf on top, just like a champagne bottle. So, nice place to visit. That's another Art Deco building. Go inside some of those buildings, see the beautiful marble work and gold work there. This is our Vietnam Memorial here just beyond the fireboat, and the building behind is the Jewelers Building, 35 East Wacker, Wabash Avenue, home to all of your diamond merchants. And this one was the centerpiece here. The cars used to drive right into the building. There were a lot of robberies here back in the 1920s, and so they would drive the car all the way to the building, into the elevator, and go right to the top of the building, preventing anyone from getting them. Hotel wall here, the window. Seen in many movies, Transformer movies. Club Quarters Hotel, the thin tower. The new London House Hotel, a brand new addition. Built between the old and the two older towers. And that's the site of Fort Dearborn, very historic spot here in Chicago. London House also has one of the finest rooftop bars in the city. But Fort Dearborn was established in 1803 as the westernmost point of the United States. Over here on the left, we have the Tribune Tower, where the Chicago Tribune was there since the 1920s. They recently sold it. It's going to be residential, $700,000 to $7 million for an apartment over there in that French neo-Gothic beauty. And right next door to it, with the onion globe on top there, is the Intercontinental Hotel, also from the 1920s. That onion dome there was meant to be a landing spot for lifts, which was a fashionable way to get around in those years until the Hindenburg disaster happened. They decided maybe it's not such a great idea. We're back here in the New East Side, and over here you can see the peacock at the top. That is the NBC headquarters in Chicago, home to the Judge Mathis show, home to Jenny Jones show, Steve Harvey show, and Jerry Springer was here for decades. He moved away to Connecticut. A lot of the hotel people around here were pretty happy about that, because they told me the guests would go nuts when they came back from the show. They wrecked the hotel room, so I guess they're doing that out in Connecticut now. But that was designed by the same guy that did the Trump Tower. So it shows you how versatile architects must be today. You need the restroom, ma'am? Right over here to the right. Right over here. So, Sheraton Hotel, directly ahead, that's one of the largest hotels in Chicago, one of the most secure. President Obama stayed up there at the top in the bulletproof suite. And that is designed for, we had the NATO summit here in Chicago. They all stayed over there as well. Bulletproof windows throughout that facility. What we got right now on the way. All right, so, beautiful hotel here at the Sheraton. Someone just asked me if the boat is going to go faster. It certainly will when we're out on the lake. But for, into the river, you're restricted on your speed limits. There's a lot of traffic here. They've even talked about putting in traffic controls here along the river. All right, over here, check it out. See this highway over here? This is a Chicagoization built in 1923, a 3-level street. For those of you from New York, sometimes it's good to be the second city, because you can see what's happening out there and say, well, what can we do to improve some of those things? Chicago's frequently complimented as a very clean city because we have streets like this. Up top, only leisure traffic. In the middle there, deliveries. All your industrial traffic down below. And at the very bottom level, all your garbage, all your construction, any material like that. So we keep all the garbage and everything down below. And unique structure here. This roadway here goes all the way around the city and out to the highways. And these newer buildings here, the Jean Gang here, she's got to build out her section of that roadway as well. So everybody must conform. In our residential areas, we also have alleys. Chicago housing, most Chicagoans don't live in this downtown area. They're out in one of the 77 neighborhoods around the city, around the central city, I should say. And typical Chicago housing is the bungalow, a brick property, nice solid brick construction. After the Great Chicago Fire, only brick construction was allowed. But we have alleys behind our housing, and that's where the garbage goes there. So most of the garbage is hidden away here in the city of Chicago. Here's one of my favorite developments here, the first development in Streeterville. One of the most expensive parts of the city, costs about $3,000 a month for a 1-bedroom. It could not be developed until there was a massive environmental cleanup. The bridge going over to this neighborhood, built in 1982. First development came in 20 years later. This one here looks like a suburban development, doesn't it? Nice little townhouses here. Beautiful place to stroll along the lakefront, and some towers of medium and taller heights. Right next door, where you see all this plywood, they were going to build one of the tallest towers in the world, the Spire, designed by Santiago Calatrava, one of the world's top architects. If you go by that now, you'll see a big giant hole in the ground, again because of the 2008 financial crash. It's surrounded by trees. Lots of court battles over the last 10 years between the developer and the architect. They're just starting now to look at some new plans for that very, very valuable property. And hopefully we get a super tall tower over there in place of the Spire. Now part of that development over here is going to be a new park, the DuSable Park here, right along Navy Pier. Well, one of my favorite towers in the city, right over here, Lake Point Tower. Imagine the views in that property, right? You're on the lakefront. You now have a beautiful cityscape to the west. That's a design from Louis Mies van der Rohe from 1968. He didn't actually build it though. He wanted to put it up in Berlin, but he never did. He left town, came to Chicago. His students found his designs, modified it a bit, and put up this beautiful tower in the 60s. Now we have had ordinances on the books since the 1860s, no development allowed along the lakefront. You cannot build here in Chicago like you can in New York. You can't go right up to the shoreline. Miami too. Building right up to the shoreline, you can't do that here. You're not allowed. That's why we have Grant Park, which is 250 acres over there in this section of the city, and Millennium Park. No commercial developments are allowed there, and many people have tried. But this over here, part of that ordinance, they left a loophole for the dockmaster at Navy Pier in case he needed to build out his industrial facilities. Instead, they started noticing something that didn't look like an industrial dock facility. This tower, they closed the loophole, did not prevent its construction, and so that's why this building is so great. No one can ever build in front of them. So they will retain those beautiful views. Tom Cruise lived over there when he was filming Risky Business. Alice Cooper lived there. Sammy Sosa, one of our great baseball players, lived over there. Oprah did not live there. A lot of people think she did. Oprah wanted to live here, she looked at it, but she specifically wanted 2 floors with a spiral staircase connecting. And they wouldn't allow that over here, the condo association. And she lived in a condo building. Oh my God. Condos are co-ops. But she ended up doing that over at the Water Tower, which is Water Tower Place on your tour of Chicago. I'm sure you'll see it. It's over by the Hancock over there. She was over there, you know, she was over there for a very long time when she was purses and things. Just square those away there under the seats. You can sit on those items. But again, great opportunity for photos, so have your cameras out because I will come down the aisle and assist you in taking pictures of your group. Remember, once again, no standing allowed. All right? And I really mean it, folks. No standing allowed. Remain in your seats with your seatbelt on. And hang on to the little ones here. Make sure your kids are, if they're on your lap, that they are inside, the safety buckle. Don't put your cameras outside the edges here, because if you drop it, that's a goodbye. So now we have a nice, beautiful breeze here. Over there, that lighthouse from 1893, from that first Columbian Exposition, it was moved over here from Jackson Park, which is further south where they're building the Obama Library. But that's where the site of the 1893 Columbian Exposition, 1933 World's Fair also held down on the south side. But they moved the lighthouse over here when this became the busiest commercial port in the country in the 1900s. So nobody's living out there. That is not, none of the bridge tenders' houses along the river are occupied anymore, and neither is the lighthouse. It is completely computerized. It still is in use as a safety device, but completely computerized and completely closed off to the public, because a couple of guys decided one night they were going to pull up their boat and have a party there, and that was the end of that. So, breakwater out here protects the harbor area. And here we go. For all you've been begging for a fast ride, are we ready? Are we ready, kids? Get a little music going here. We are heading to the grand, beautiful city of Chicago, heading down towards Museum Campus. All right. Woo-hoo! Let's get this back. And our first spectator. Look at that over there. That's residential property here in Chicago on the north side. 77 neighborhoods around the city. Beautiful lakefront properties here. 26 miles of lakefront, 26 different beaches. All over to the public, beautiful parkland as well. We're on a migratory path for the birds. So a lot of stopping points for the birds, many different nature areas around the city. And so, great views here of Lake Michigan and Chicago. You have some police activity up ahead on the left-hand side. All right, doing a lot better now. Everyone cooled off. All you folks ask me, when are we going to go fast? When are we going to go fast? Well, we checked it out. If you want an even faster tour,